Okay, so I am back with another video, and this is the last video to just cross these out of here. Today's video, we're going to be going over a space scene, animation, pen trick, the null chain, including a 3D camera, and as well as speed ramps. So let's get straight into it. Okay, we are back with another episode, and this time today we're doing a space scene, and this is actually just gonna be the last video of the whole Star Wars or War Star series or whatever, because it's kind of getting old. We need to move on to something new. I actually have a new project I'm working on, and I spent 3 days filming it, but that won't come out for a while. It's just in the early stages. What the fuck? Okay, why are we showing this? This ain't supposed to be out yet. It's not even done being made, dude. It's not even edited. Gosh, well, there you have it, I guess. I mean, there's some sneak peek of a new film I'm making in the future. Wait a while for that. Anyway, basically, we're just gonna be going over how to make a space scene with some stars and a spaceship animation with some 3D camera and some 3D camera movement speed ramps as well, and a cool little neat pen trick that I've learned to also animate more smoothly. Okay, so to first set up your space scene, you're gonna make a new solid, and you're gonna make it white. Then you're going to apply the CC ball action effect to that. After that, you want to decrease the size to like, I don't know, let's go like 20 maybe. Then space it out to how many stars you want in your scene. And then scattering it will make it not proportional and, you know, randomly distributed. So scatter that out until how you want it. And then I want the ball, actually I want it to be a little bit smaller of stars. So I'm gonna go like 15. Might drop it a little bit lower. I might do like 8 or 9 actually. That's basically just a very simple way to make some stars. And a big advantage to using this effect instead of a, you know, picture off Google or like a stock asset or something is that if say you were to have one of them, so say I just got this picture from Google, then once I press C on my keyboard and go into the camera controls and move around, you can see that the stock picture clips on the edges, and you can just tell it's an image. But on the other hand, if I get rid of this and then I put these stars that we just made, it's infinite. You don't even have to make the layer 3D. Making it 3D will actually do the same exact thing. It will clip on the edges. But anyway, these stars don't look that good, so we're gonna make them a little bit better. So if you have a plugin like Deep Glow, you can just add that on there, and it'll look all right. It's just mess with some of the settings. But if you want to do this with no plugins, we can do an exponential glow effect. So we can add about 2 or 3 glow effects on there. So add a glow effect, increase the radius to like 40, then duplicate the glow effect, then make the radius about like 200. Let's increase the threshold to 90%, and then we'll drop the intensity down to like 0.7, or we can go down a little bit farther if you want. This is more so preference, you know, for how much you want your scene to glow and how much light you want in your composition. Anyway, these effects still work with the 3D camera, so your stars will be 3D incorporated. Anyway, this is just the basic star setup I did. You can get even more in depth with it and start making like nebulas and galaxies and all this stuff. And you even can start making planets, which is what I did for this Earth effect right here. But that might be for another tutorial or a short or something. I don't know. The next thing I'll get into is how I animated and implemented a 3D model. In this case, it was a spaceship, and how I animated that and how I made it look like it was flying around throughout the space scene, as well as having a 3D camera to follow the spaceship around. So you can go on a website called TurboSquid, and they have a bunch of 3D models that you can use. You don't have to pay for anything, and you can just use that. So the 3D model spaceship I got off of that website was this one, and it was free. You downloaded it as a Blender file, and in some instances, the textures will be mapped already onto the 3D model itself, or you'll have to get your own textures, or I'm not even sure. It's very situational. I'm not a Blender wizard. Anyway, so I just got my spaceship. Let's just make a scene where it's just flying left to right, you know, very simple. So I got my spaceship. I'm going to so this is forward, so I'm gonna angle it like this, or actually I'll have it to where it's flying out like starting here. So let's just say I wanted it to start here, and I just wanted like to fly around and, you know, go off screen to the left. Now there's a couple ways to do this. You can make a camera, and then you can make a chain of nulls parented to that and use speed ramps and overlatch each null, or you could just do it like this and just keyframe it all on one camera. Before we make our 3D camera, we have to first animate our spaceship. So I'm gonna move this until we have it in the first frame. Then I'm gonna open up the transform properties, and let's just set keyframes on everything, since this is the first starting frame. Then we're going to use the handles over here to move the spaceship instead of messing with things like scale, because your spaceship stays the same size the entire time. It appears smaller based on the Z depth. So don't ever mess with scale. I made that mistake way too many times. Let's jump a couple of frames forward, and let's go and mess with this handle, and let's make this thing full so we can see what we're doing here. So I want it to just like come here, and then I'll maybe, you know, I want it to like turn a little bit, and I might want it to rotate just a smidge, and then that'll be our first keyframe. And then we'll go out a little farther, and maybe I want it to, you know, go out a little farther in Z space. Then I can have it pushed up a little bit, and then rotate it like this, then rotate it back like this. So this is my animation before I make any smooth keyframing or, you know, that pen trick I was talking about. As you can tell, each new keyframe, there's a sudden shift in like speed and and motion. You can tell it's not smooth at all. So the first thing we'll do is we'll select 2 views, and then on the second one, this one's normal, so make that fit. On the second one, we'll go and click top. Now that you click top, you can see the exact path your ship takes. So as you can tell over here, when I started this light blue pen path I made, that's the path my ship is taking. So as you can tell when I'm going through the timeline, it's going along there. So to make this more smooth, we can get rid of these harsh edges right here. So to do that, we'll go to our pen tool and we'll hold click on it, and we'll go to convert vertex tool. Then we'll click it, and look at that. It's a lot more smoother now, but you can take this a step further and you can mess with the Bezier handles on it, and you can make it, you know, have a sharper turn or a wider turn and stuff like that. So I do that for every single one, and then mess with these handles. Now, generally what I found out by editing the space scene in the actual Star Wars video was that the less keyframes you make, the better. Because the more keyframes you have, the more handles you're gonna have to adjust to make it smooth. And then by that point, you just made it so choppy, it's not smooth at all because there's so much. So keep that in mind. This is also a bunch of trial and error. So if something doesn't go as smooth as you want it, just maybe mess with, you know, how fast the key or how much the keyframes are spaced apart. So since I've smoothed out all those edges, this is looking a lot better than what it used to be. So let's play it back and let's see how it looks. So definitely smoother, but it's not perfect yet. And to make it more smooth, another thing to do is to highlight all these, go to the graph editor, and if yours shows the value graph, if it looks like this, then just right click and go to speed graph. After each new keyframe, position changes abruptly. So just highlight all of those points, and then go down here to convert select keyframes to auto Bezier. And yes, I did look up a tutorial how to say that. You can tell that there's no, everything just kind of flows with the graph. There's no harsh lines and drops and dips like there was earlier. You go into the auto Bezier. What did I forgot the tutorial. Hold on.
Bezier.
So now that we play it back, there's not so much harsh transitions between each keyframes. Now it is noticeable at times, and that might be you might have to tweak some of, like, maybe this goes faster or slower or whatever. Next, we'll move on to the camera movement and how to do that smoothly. It's pretty much the same thing, but there are a few things to keep in mind. First, let's go back to one view and then fit screen. If you haven't made a camera, make a camera. But make sure to select one node camera, so that this way the camera orientates on itself and not another point of origin. And then 50 millimeters is fine. Press OK. So now if you use your camera by pressing C, it moves around in 3D space. You can do the same exact thing we did for the spaceship animation for the camera animation, but we're going to do it a different way so we can knock out 2 different methods in one video. So the first thing you're going to do after making your camera is press New, make a null object. I'm going to change the color of this so it's easier to see. This null object, you want to take your camera pick whip and you want to parent it to the null. That way, whatever your null does, your camera also does. But before that, or after it, I guess, doesn't really matter. Make the null 3D. Go here, go to your transform properties of your null, make keyframes everywhere. Then let's open up our spaceship keyframes. It's just going to give us an idea like where we made our keyframes. That way we can make our keyframes to the 3D camera. So let's just say right here I want the camera to change. Let's also hide the box right there. So I'm gonna go to my null. I'm gonna make my position in Z space more, so it looks like it's zoomed in. Do not make the mistake, repeat this again because I've done this so many times. Do not make the mistake of messing with scale. You're making everything bigger, which gives the illusion that you're moving closer to it instead of actually moving it closer to it in Z space and keeping it the same size it's supposed to be. I think I want my camera to rotate like this a little bit, and I'm gonna move down as well. And let's go in a little bit more. Next we'll do is highlight this graph editor, and this is where you can mess with some different methods of smooth motion. You know, let's highlight all that, and this you can mess with the handles however you want, because we're gonna be overlapping these nulls so that way they blend in over each other. So say I want this clip to start slow and then gradually ramp up and then come to a halt. I would do that like that, and that's a pretty cool motion. So after that first keyframe, we're only gonna do one keyframe for each null. Then make a new null object, and a keyboard shortcut to make a new null object is Alt, Control, Shift, Y. It's a lot of buttons, but it does make a new null. Hide the layer, make it 3D, take this null object, pick whip, and pick whip it to the new null you just made. So now you have it chained up from the camera to this null to this null. And we're going to incrementally make more nulls for as many keyframes we need for this scene or whatever scene you're working on. So then next, we're going to open up this transform property of this null, and we are going to open the other one we just made. So this keyframe, these keyframes here and here. So on this null, we're going to track back like maybe 4 sets. And then only at this point, we're going to highlight all that and make keyframes. Then we're gonna move into the next point we want our camera to change. Right there is a pretty good spot. And I think it'd be cool to make the orientation like this. And then we can move the position like that. As you can see, it's pretty smooth so far, but I'm gonna just do the same exact thing. Highlight those keyframes, go to this, highlight all of them. I'll make this one to where it's slow and then ramps back up. And as you can see, the spaceship goes off frame a little bit, so I'm gonna actually go up here and then I'll make this go a little closer. That way it looks like it belongs on frame. Then we're gonna repeat that process one more time, looks like, and there we go. Pretty smooth animation for both the spaceship and the camera. And the reason this works so well is because those nulls are overlapping. And for the spaceship, you have the pen path being smoothed out with the vertex tool, as well as the auto. Still can't say that word even after the tutorial. But that is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that you can apply this to you know, your own spaces scene or whatever you're making. Feel free to drop a comment of something I should maybe make a video on next. Videos will be coming down to a halt more though, because I am going off to college and I might not have enough time to set aside for videos and content and thinking of ideas and these editing tutorials. Plus, I'm also working on that other film I was talking about. Just expect that short film will be coming out sometime, so stay tuned to that. But yeah, I will see you guys later.